we have the pleasure together to now move to our next keynote speaker, Samantha Cristoforetti. She's already online, I guess. We know that you are very soon getting into a training preparation this morning for your next mission. So we are very happy, Professor Monti and myself, to have you with us.
Thank you so much, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to the global audience. I'm very happy to greet Professor Monti, Vice President Paolo Magri, and the entire distinguished T20 audience. And I'm very honored to take part in this summit today. So I would like to thank both ISPI and Bocconi University for allowing me also on behalf of the European Space Agency to address such a distinguished audience of global thought leaders. A few years ago, I had the opportunity of spending several months on the International Space Station. And in that time, I could observe our planet and connect with our planet from what we like to call the orbital perspective. And it's that perspective that I would like to share with you today, the perspective of space and of what space can do for people, planet, and prosperity. So let's talk about space. Lots of people out there are talking about space today, and they often talk about a new space race, and there's talk about moon and Mars landers and nanosatellites and mega rockets and new commercial actors and space tourists. But if we scratch beneath this glossy surface, something even more exciting emerges. This is not a race. This is a revolution. Space, the next frontier of human progress, is becoming mainstream. It's becoming more and more part of our daily lives. It's as widespread as electricity, as the phones in our pocket, as our internet signal. It's getting closer to each and every one of us. So what does that mean for our future? What does that mean about people, planet, prosperity? What can space deliver? There's fantastic opportunities and also some unique challenges. Let's start with prosperity. The global space economy is currently 55% larger than just a decade ago. And the trend of the last 5 years shows uninterrupted growth. The space economy not only has weathered the global pandemic, but has actually emerged stronger. If you add to this the trickle-down effects into the non-space sectors, the innovative push of space technologies, the commercial spur of space applications, and the importance of space becomes even more relevant and clear. But as we know, prosperity is not only about wealth. It's about sustainable growth with purpose. The global pandemic has not only been a time of searching for economic solutions, but it has also been a time of soul searching. People have reflected upon their personal life choices. Collectively, as societies, we have reflected upon our values, our priorities, our way of life. And as we come out of this, we have this opportunity of building back better, greener, in a more sustainable way, in order to ensure not only the short-term recovery, but also our long-term sustainable prosperity. Space can and must have a role to play. Space applications can power smart cars and smarter cities, clean transportation, cleaner energy production. Navigation satellites provide global real-time data to optimize our supply chains or to drive our autonomous vehicles. Earth observation can be fed, the data from our Earth observation satellites can be fed into urban planning, whether it's about planning new infrastructure or protecting our cultural heritage or finding new sites for renewable energy production. Space can make agriculture more productive in spite of increasing heat and drought, and government response more resilient in the face of extreme weather and catastrophes such as floods or fires. Most importantly, space can help make our economic growth sustainable as we work towards the goal of a carbon-free economy by 2050. We can take care of prosperity and planet together for the people. So let's talk about planet, and allow me to bring you back 3 decades to 1989. I was a child back then, and the Montreal Protocol came into effect. And it was drawn up to address the alarming thinning of the ozone layer in the stratosphere. Some might remember that it was the very first agreement in the history of the United Nations that was ratified by all members. And few might even remember that it was an animation, a graphic animation based on satellite data that really drove the point home for people around the world and created that sense of urgency that made that effective response possible. Back then, it was the roof of our planet, of our house, that was leaking. Soon, our entire house will be on fire. Or as the IPCC report put it in a very short but effective manner, it's warming. It's us. Yes, we are sure. It is bad, but we can fix it. We have no choice but to fix it, and space can help. Here's a hard fact. More than half of the essential climate variables that feed our very complex climate models can only be measured from space. And we cannot manage what we cannot measure and model. And here's another hard fact. The unique vantage point of space allows our satellites to provide continuous, large-scale, long-term, precise data about the state of our planet, also in regions that would be very difficult, if not impossible, to reach, if not from space. Think about polar regions, deserts, virgin forests, the oceans. Whether it's vulnerable coastal communities in Asia affected by sea level rise, or farmers in Africa impacted by drought or floods, our satellites can provide data where it is needed the most. It is our mission and ambition at the European Space Agency to do just that. Later this year, COP26 in Glasgow will be a moment of truth for the global community. It's within our reach to also make it a moment of increased action. And what if we could make a quantum leap when it comes to action? What if we could integrate all data into one system, basically a digital twin of Earth, to allow modeling of future climate, simulate different scenarios, the effects of different interventions, to predict and to prevent, and ultimately to protect our planet, our prosperity, our people. This is ESA's call to action. But caring for our planet does not stop at the edge of our thin atmosphere anymore. It also means caring for the very place where our space activities are flourishing the most, low Earth orbit, the vital orbital pathways around Earth. There is a problem brewing overhead. It's invisible to the naked eye, and it's still maybe not known to most people. Space debris threatens our future in space. Left unaddressed, space debris will quickly become the dark side of this new space revolution. If we choose to tackle this problem right away, though, through effective international coordination and cooperation, the kind of cooperation that makes the International Space Station possible, we can ensure a long-term sustainable era of space exploration and exploitation. ESA is also at the forefront of this challenge. As I conclude my remarks, let me add one final point that is extremely dear to my heart. Thinking especially of the third pillar that we are discussing today, people. To be truly successful and effective, the new space revolution will have to be more inclusive than it has been so far. Starting from the digital divide that our telecommunication satellite can help to mitigate and to bridge, all the way to the skills and gender gap that we still have in the space sector. I will soon have the amazing opportunity of flying again for a second time to the International Space Station. And nothing makes me prouder than to think that I can also serve as a role model for our future generation of astronauts, space enthusiasts, but also scientists, engineers, and people at large who deeply care about the global challenges that we face as humanity. We need all talent to tackle those global challenges, and we need the hearts and minds of young people who truly perceive themselves as citizens of the world. I truly believe that living within the limit of our planet is a global challenge that requires humankind to act as one to preserve our home for generations to come. And we need that same collaboration mindset that drives our space exploration and built the International Space Station. This is the vision and ambition that Europe and the European Space Agency are working towards. We want to inspire progress and drive innovation. We want to take risks, but also do the responsible things. We want to approach the global challenges from that orbital perspective, remembering that we're all crew members on Spaceship Earth, not passengers, crew members, with the responsibility to roll up our sleeves and get the job done. As you work to tackle those global challenges, I encourage you, I urge you to take that orbital perspective and to remember that space can help. Make space part of your reflection process, make space part of your decision making, and make space part of our solutions. Thank you.